Hello, welcome to another episode of HD, a Third Culture Kid. This is a podcast where I, as a third culture kid, share my thoughts, experiences, and conversations. A third culture kid is someone who grew up in a culture that's different from the one that their parents were raised in, and that's me. I was born in Korea, but I moved to Brazil when I was 2, and I grew up there, attending an American school while growing up in a Korean household. And all while being in a Brazilian culture and environment. And then I moved to the States to attend undergrad. So yeah, this is my podcast. And in this episode, it's going to be a monologue podcast where I just share my thoughts, just really with myself and share a piece of my mind here. And specifically, my decision to go to law school and being 30s while I'm attending. I can't tell you whether you should go, but I wanted to introduce myself at least as another data point of someone who is committing to go to law school in their 30s. So a little bit of context about myself. I have committed because I've deferred admissions, but I've signed an agreement to attend, and I'll be attending Columbia Law School, and I'll be in my 30s while I'm attending. So I, in my undergrad, studied business. And I studied business because it was something that was practical, marketable, somewhat challenging as well too. And really, it just gave me literacy in a language and machinery that I knew was a big mover in the world. Like, 2009, 2008 was the recession, right? And I didn't quite understand it. I didn't quite understand like why the housing bubble and some other factors brought about the disaster that was the recession. Um, why certain scandals and accounting frauds were happening, why they were significant. These were big movers in our society, and I didn't quite understand it. So I wanted to gain some literacy in that as well. Um, so yeah, for all those reasons, I decided to pursue becoming a business major. And then I said marketable because it was important for me to find a job after um, graduating because otherwise I wouldn't be able to attend. Sorry, not able to attend. I mean, I wouldn't be able to stay in the States. I needed a company to sponsor me and my stay in the States because I wasn't from the States. So that was important. And then another important component was what was a degree that I thought honestly could also make me a competitive law school applicant. And I thought I could do well in business, GPA wise, because as I understood it, and I think it's true, law schools do look at GPAs of law school applicants. And I thought I could do well in business, and I did well. So in undergrad, again, I was a business major. Currently, I'm at a big tech firm, and I make a good salary. And if it weren't for software engineers, I'd probably be thinking that I'm making a lot of money. But nonetheless, I'm doing something that I really enjoy too. So, can't complain. But I say this as well, not because, I want to brag or anything, but it's more to inform the opportunity cost that that I had to weigh in deciding and committing to go to law school. So that's where I am right now. Um, and and kind of a soft trait about myself that explains why I want to go to law school. And I think this is probably the key trait that kind of helped and really sealed the decision for me it's that I've always been drawn to and really entranced and just passionate about when I get into this exercise of applying myself and thinking within the fields of and subject matter of injustice and justice. Um, it's, when I see these things happen and I see the arguments for and arguments against it, when I see it being perpetuated or not, something just sparks in me emotionally. There's like just there's a unique emotional spark that's brought about by that subject matter that other subject matters don't bring about for me. And I find that there's meaning in this, especially because it's a subject matter that really affects people's lives. So the fact that there's meaning in this, that I, get viscerally emotional sometimes about this. And it's not like I get like out of control emotional. It's just, I just get fueled by a passion that I find myself wanting to channel in a productive and constructive manner. And I think the field itself is going to be challenging and it's going to be mentally engaging too. So that's going to be fun as well. So that's kind of a soft trait of mine that I think explains why I want to go to law school and become a lawyer, or at least be in the field of law, in an area that only becoming or attending law school unlocks for me. You can't become a lawyer without going to law school, at least in the States, that is. Well, that's not true. Apparently, I think one of my a friend told me that you can you can become a lawyer by not going to law school. I think one of the ways is that you can go through an apprenticeship with a practicing lawyer or something like that. So there are ways you can be a lawyer without going to law school. Um, yeah. And if you believe in suits, you can fool the entire world that you did go to law school and practice law. But I wonder if that's something like that has actually happened in real life, like at least once in like the centuries that we've lived in this world, or millennia. It probably happened at least once. I'd like to believe that. Anyway, that's a little bit of context about myself. And now digging into the decision making process, like some pros that I perceived about going to law school in my 30s, some cons I perceived. So let's just share a little bit. Like, one of the perceived pros is that I know what I want more now that I'm older, in terms of what gives me satisfaction in the job. Like, I know what kind of work-life balance works well for me, what kind of coworkers I work well with, what kind of work really energizes me, how important what I find to be meaningful is for me to be motivated in the job. And I just been exposed to different scenarios and situations with different permutations of factors, that I think I gained an understanding of a close to optimal situation for me that would maximize my satisfaction. So that's important as I guide myself in this journey and I seek out different opportunities, and I know what to seek out in different opportunities to be able to find something that suits my happiness and really is conducive of my happiness. So that's pro number one. I just know more, I think, the factors and conditions that will give me the most happiness in a job. Two, there's more pressure on me now. I know this can be a con, but for me, I think it's a pro. It's more a pro than a con because it's going to motivate me to work harder too. Like, I'm going to be less distracted because I'm going to have this pressure telling me that I need to work hard and really capitalize on opportunity. I do have to be careful of this pressure not breaking me, because like if I let this pressure really control me, then I might like exhaust myself and I might not enjoy my law school experience as much. So I do have to watch out for that. But overall, as long as I keep it in check, I think I can definitely make it into a pro. So more pressure, meaning more motivation. That's a pro. Another pro that I thought of was, I'm just more mature now, and this relates to what I said about me being older. And I think a lot of the pros and cons, honestly, that I'm going to list is going to have to do with my age. I mean, for crying out loud, my podcast episodes is going to law school in my 30s. So the pros and cons are going to be almost necessarily age related, because that's kind of the analysis that I did for myself. So again, back to pro number three. I'm more mature now. I think this translates into more discipline and an overall better self. I just know more things about myself that bring out a better version in me. What kind of situations might, like in what kind of situations, what I have to do to kind of weather it. So for example, like I've done some mindfulness practices, meditation, even gone to therapy. So I have a range of things in my mental toolkit that I can draw from to be able to help me overcome certain things and various situations in life. Um, and if not overcome, at least mitigate it, right? So I think with having that life experience and that life experience just exposing me to these different life skills is going to serve me well. Like even things like diet, like what kind of things should I eat to make me the most cognitively productive? That's yeah, that's going to be important for me as well too. And I've learned to cook as well too. Cooking, I think, is going to be an important skill while I'm attending law school because it'll help me save money. Um, so yeah, just overall things, all these different life skills, I think, are just going to make me um, a better law student and a better lawyer as well, and prepare me more. So that's a definite plus. Um, I mean, another pro of why I want to go to law school, even though I'm in my 30s right now, is I did want to spend some time in New York a little bit. I just have it in my mind that, like, apart from San Francisco, New York is like the other major city in the States. It's like on the complete other side of the coast that seems to have a lot of promises of fun um, opportunities. So I'm at the minimum curious, and also, beyond the minimum, I'm pretty excited to spend some time in New York. Um, so those are the pros of going to law school in my 30s. Um, Now, some of the cons. Uh, I mean, as I mentioned, and this is going to be a recurring theme because that's the nature of the analysis that I'm doing, but I am older, and that also means I think my cognitive abilities, especially like this sponge absorbency of being able to retain information and engraving things deeply into my memory, it's not going to be as strong as when I was younger. I'm probably going to be at a disadvantage in that regard compared to these younger folks. Um, I know LeBron James is an anomaly when it comes to like physical athleticism. Like I think I read an article saying like at age 36, his biological age for his body seems to be like his late 20s, even though his chronological age is like 36. So it's certainly possible that my cognitive abilities have not declined. But statistically speaking, LeBron James is a once in a generation talent. I don't want to sound like I don't have confidence in myself, but just statistically speaking, I'm likely not a once in a generation specimen in terms of cognitive youth and just, yeah, cognitive aging. So it's likely that my cognitive abilities have declined, but honestly, I'm not sure how strongly I believe this. I just do think my memory of certain things are pretty good too. Um, so yeah, but that's, again, statistically speaking, I do think that that might be a disadvantage. And I do think about this from time to time, like, oh man, I do wonder. There's just so much I have to read, so much I probably have to memorize and just retain in my head. I don't know if I am as good as I would be in that regard, like in memory and retaining stuff, as I would have been if I had been attending school at a younger age. But hey, that's just one con in context, and I can certainly try to compensate for it by working harder. So that's con number one: potential cognitive um, disadvantage in just the area of memory retention. Um, con number two, I'm probably more tired as well, I think, than I would have been if I were younger. Like, I feel like I've worked for so long without taking much of a break. Um, and I've worked so hard for that long. So I think that there's just mental mileage that's accumulated on my mind and my brain that might make me more prone to exhaustion in studying. It's possible. I don't know. Um, I can probably do some reading about this, but that's just a concern of mine. But who's to say, a, a student coming out of college, having studied for so long, is not going to be more tired than I am. I don't know. Um, I don't know exactly. I'm not an expert on mental stamina, so yeah. But that's just a perceived con of mine that I might be more tired and I might be more prone to mental exhaustion than somebody that's younger. Um, but again, I think there's a way to not again, but I think there's a way to mitigate this just by making sure that I take time off before I go to law school. Like I don't want to go straight from like working long hours and then go to law school. That's probably a mistake. So I'm definitely going to try to make sure that I take some time off. Another con, large opportunity cost. And this is probably if the two cons that I've just listed are more like, oh yeah, these are cons that I'll have to be mindful of that I think put me at disadvantage. But those aren't cons that really like deter me from going to law school. The opportunity cost part, though, I think that would be an area that would really have me consider deterring myself from going to law school. Um, so, I mean, there's definitely a lot of different costs, like different opportunity costs, but I've broken it down to a few categories. One being like financial, other being time, maybe another one being my career. But financial wise, what I'm foregoing by going to law school is the income that I could have earned in those 3 years. So like hundreds of thousands of dollars in income that I could have earned in those 3 years, I will forego by attending law school. That is a big chunk because I feel like it's like a net swing of like double that value because I'm not earning zero income during that 3 years that I'll be attending law school. I'll be in the negative kind of like I'll be spending like hundreds of thousands of dollars while I'm going to law school, as opposed to the alternative, which have been being the positive of earning hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that's an opportunity cost. Oh, and for those who don't know what an opportunity cost is, it's like the value or the gain that you're foregoing or by pursuing another opportunity. So, for example, if I decided to play basketball instead of spending time with my girlfriend, the opportunity cost of me going to play basketball is uh, not spending time with my girlfriend and all the memories and fun that I could have built and have had with my girlfriend had I not gone to play basketball. So that would have been my opportunity cost. Um, so yeah, so that's the opportunity cost, the cost the value that I'm foregoing by attending law school in terms of financial part of it. Um, so another opportunity cost is just the time. I think some life events that I could have had planned for myself is more delayed, or it's likely to be delayed because of going to law school. Like having children is going to be more difficult in law school. Buying a home is probably out of the question while going to law school. How am I? I mean, I'm incurring so much. I'm incurring not so much, but I'm incurring some debt. I will be able to use some of my savings to pay for law school, but I'm incurring quite some debt to go to law school. I won't have enough for a down payment for the house that I would like while attending law school too. So that's delayed, right? So some significant life events that somebody would typically like to have at some point in their lives is delayed because I'm going to law school. So I'm losing some time in attaining these life events. And another one, a huge one, is just the promising career that I might be leaving behind. It's in the certainty of this career. Like, I don't know how good of a lawyer I'm going to be. I don't know what my future as a lawyer is going to be, or and just this. I don't know what my career is going to be within this field of law too, and how what the outlook of it's going to be. But I have much more of an idea of what my career, were I to stay in it right now, is going to look like. Like, I kind of know my career path maybe. I also know that I like what I'm doing. It's quite fulfilling too. I really enjoy it. And work life balance is great. I get to do these other things. I like also recording this podcast. Um, so, and it's also a comfortable living as well too. So, I am foregoing the certainty of a great job and I'm incurring this as an opportunity cost if I go to attend law school. Granted, though, I think I probably can return to my older job, or or this firm or this company after attending grad school. So for me, this opportunity cost isn't quite something I'm foregoing. So I don't know if I would classify that as an opportunity cost because I could return to it. So the career itself might not be an opportunity cost because I could get back to it even after attending law school. But the income that I could have been earning those 3 years, I would definitely forego. So that's definitely an opportunity cost that I'd be incurring if I go to law school. And also the time part. It's not something that I can recover. I think isn't that part of the definition of opportunity cost? Something that you can't recover as well. Like it's something that you're foregoing and you can't recover. I feel like it's there, or at least, yeah, that's another condition for you to define it as opportunity cost. But anyway, regardless of what the definition is, yeah, the career part is just less of an opportunity cost for me, maybe because I feel like I can return to it even after attending and graduating law school. So yeah, these opportunity costs are there. Um, I think a lot of the depth of the opportunity costs I'm perceiving is psychological, and it's something I'm incurring. Like it's like self-incurred psychological cost kind of too, because if I didn't compare myself maybe to these other law school students, would these other opportunity costs, me being older, not this opportunity cost, me just having earned more money, me delaying these life events, would they kind of stand in such large magnitude for me? Actually, maybe so. It doesn't change the fact that I'm delaying these life events. But laden in this language of me delaying a life event um, is this built-in timeline that is typical maybe for someone. So if I use the word typical and I compare myself, I am comparing myself to what is standard and what not to. So some of the size and the magnitude of the opportunity cost that I'm perceiving is probably self-incurred, and it's due to comparison. So I have to be aware of that. Know that some of these are just artificially constructed, the size of these costs, and I have to remind myself that really the important comparison is whatever I need to compare myself to my prior self to maximize my happiness going forward, and to find meaning for myself and do what's fulfilling for me. And I have to remind myself that other success metrics are probably more applicable and important here. Again, what's meaningful for me, what's going to make me the most happy, what's going to reduce my regret at my deathbed. When I die, like, what am I going to regret in life? I don't want to reduce that. I don't want to have huge life regrets. So these are probably the more applicable success metrics for me, not like how much money I could have earned in 3 years, or how early I could have achieved these life events were not for me attending law school. Those are probably not the success metrics and questions I probably want to ask myself in how I want to lead my life. So got to remind myself of the relevant success metrics here. So those are the cons. And the end of the verdict for me is I have to go. I listed all these pros and cons, it was like really complicated. But no matter how numerous these pros and cons are, it is so hard to outweigh just a YOLO factor of it. Like, you only live life once. If I really believed in the afterlife, or maybe the reincarnation of myself, maybe that'd be different. If I really believed in it, I can try life in different ways. So it wouldn't be as important for me to try something and it wouldn't be as important for me to prioritize, like brutally prioritize what I think is the most important things in my life to pursue. And some of those things are like, what is meaningful in my life? What I think will be meaningful in my life. But I don't know if I'm going to have another life or not. So all that's uncertain for me. So what I can do is mostly rely on the certainty that I know I have, and it's at least this life. And we shouldn't bank. I'm not going to bank my decisions on the uncertainty of whether there's an afterlife or reincarnation of myself or whatnot too. So if I live life only once, I want to prioritize what I think I can do in this finite time. And it's doing something that I think will make me feel more fulfilled, or I think is more fulfilling than my current job, and what will mentally engage me, and will make me happy and passionate about what I'm doing. Like, yes, I'm passionate about what I'm doing right now in my job too, but what will make me more passionate too? You only live life once, right? If you're going to only live life once too, not two, but if you're only going to live life once, then you need to prioritize the things. This is what I tell myself when I say you. Really, it's me. That I need to prioritize what I want to do in this finite timeline. So yeah, it's a must go for me, mainly, and a lot of it has to do with YOLO. And I also did some in-depth financial analysis on this. So it's super rough, but I calculated that the cost for me to attend law school would be about $622,000. This includes the cost of admission to go to law school, um, and some debt interest that I'll probably incur before I pay off my loans, and the opportunity cost of me foregoing the income that I could have earned in those 3 years. It's about, I'd say, like $622,000. It could be more, it could be less. Um, but the time horizon of me calculating this cost of me going to law school is 3 years, because law school is 3 years. So I thought to myself, is the value of me going to law school um, greater than $622,000? And the answer to me is like easily yes. Like, how do I value my ability to be able to unlock this area of law and justice at more than $622,000, more than $1 million. If anything, if I have to really price it, it's probably gonna be at least like $10 million or something. Something like that, something that's like really, really life changing. I know $1 million is life changing as well too, but I mean I have to add a premium to this, because this is just an area that's gonna, I think, make me more fulfilled, make me feel more fulfilled, will really challenge me as well too, will really engross me in that subject matter. And yeah, it's worth more than $622,000, which makes it a net positive decision for me. Um, and there's just so, and I try to, like, as much as you want to quantify the decision and the cost and the value of it, like, how do you like quantify the value and the differential value of having a child 2 years from now compared to like 5 years from now? How do I account for the potential serendipities of life that can emerge at any time and any moment in my life that could give me tremendous value and happiness? Like, that serendipity could happen like while I'm in law school. You can't price that. There's just so much uncertainty there. So like, just I don't know. I think there's a concept in physics with entropy, um, and maybe there's a similar parallel to entropy to these serendipities in life too. Um, Now I'm kind of out of my element too, but part of me relies on the serendipities of life to also be assured that something good will come out of this too, and something worth more than $622,000. That's only a part of it. And like I said, there's many other reasons why I think um, my pursuit of going to law school and this law career is going to be worth more than $622,000. This unlocking of this area in subject matter in a profession that's probably going to make me feel, and I really strongly believe that's going to make me feel more fulfilled than I am right now in my current job. And trust me, my job right now is quite fulfilling already. Um, I talked about being like finding something that fulfills me and finding fulfillment in something, and that's like really, really important. And I keep putting numbers and quantifying this as well too, because I think that's numbers give me something more tangible to go off of and to help guide me. And I try to use numbers here and there where it makes sense too, and sometimes it doesn't. And as I mentioned, like, how can you quantify certain things in life, like so many intangibles in life? But think about it. Um, if you live your life and you work 8 hours a day on a job, you're almost spending 33% of your life in the profession. So, like, there's 24 hours in a day. You spend 8 hours. That's 33%. Yes, it's like weekday life. So if you count weekends, maybe it's more like 25% of your life. But that's still a significant portion of your life. So if you're gonna spend 25%, 33% of your life on a profession that doesn't make you the most fulfilled in your life, then I keep saying you, but really for myself, like, that I am like wasting or not, I'm making a suboptimal decision. The optimal decision is to do something that really maximizes my fulfillment, my happiness, my meaning, and my passion. And I'm making a suboptimal decision in my life if I'm choosing to spend 25% of my time in my life on a job that doesn't bring me the maximum of those facets and aspects that I just mentioned. It's probably more than 33 or 25%, especially if you take out sleep during your day, right? You can sleep, like I sleep like 6 to 8 hours a day, maybe. So like I really have 16 to 18 hours during the waking day. So that's almost like 50% of my life. It's a huge chunk of my life. And it would be a very, like, even economically suboptimal decision to spend 50% of my life on something that I don't feel as fulfilled about. And I have a choice in this. Yeah, I can truly choose if I want to switch my career or do something else too. So really, it's on me. Um, this all is a risk, right? I did say there are some certainties here. For me, the certainty is that I have this life right now. And to me, that really strengthens my YOLO mentality that I should decide to like prioritize things in my life that allow me to do the things that are most priority for me with this finite life. Um, but also there's this uncertainty. There's this uncertainty of what kind of law career, what the outlook of my law career would look like, um, and it's a risk. Because I am trading that uncertainty for something that's certain, which is my career right now, and what I know my career brings to my life right now. But risk to me is also synonymous to opportunity. Almost every pursuit of opportunity comes with risk because you are pursuing just the very pursuit of the opportunity comes with risk, I think. Um, and to me, that's a big part of what life is about. And I'm kind of a thrill seeker. I say this out of based on my experience of like propensity to have wanted to bungee jump, which I did bungee jump, skydove, paraglided, did these like adrenaline juicing sports and endeavors. So I'm kind of am a thrill seeker too, but that's what makes life exciting, I think, right? Again, you only live life once, and so I have the choice to know or decide like how I want to spend this one particular life, and I would like to live it in a exciting manner. Sure, I don't want to like risk everything, but I want to add as much as I can excitement to it. Um, so yeah, that's kind of my decision making process behind going to law school. And I'm excited to attend Columbia Law School next year. All right, so that's just a little bit piece of my mind. Please just treat this as the story and thought process behind one decision maker in going to law school in their 30s. If this helps you, great. If it doesn't, that's okay as well too. And thanks for listening, guys. See you guys in the next episode.